Hey YouTube, so I'm back here on Wednesday, and I believe it's July 22nd. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with the date, the day. Just one day rolls into the next. Anyway, in my last video, I did say that I was going to do um, a short video on talking about the stimulus package. Um, Now, for people who have been keeping up with it, it probably doesn't seem like an update. You know, I mean, we do know that the Senate came back on Monday to propose their bill. Right now, everything is being negotiated, but there aren't any real changes or updates, concrete, that we can say this is going to definitely happen. We're definitely getting this. We don't know that yet. And so I'm just going to tell you what I know based on uh, the news that I've been following and catching little conferences here and there and reading little news clips. So we know that a couple months ago, the Democrats passed the HEROES Act. And when I say Democrats, I mean the House of Representatives. And the only reason why I say Democrats is because we know that the House is controlled by Democrats. It doesn't mean that they don't have, the House of Representatives does not include Republicans, because it does. It includes Democrats and Republicans, but Democrats are the majority. They hold more seats. So typically when people are referring to the House of Representatives, they just say Democrats. So they made sure that the HEROES Act was passed, and that was 2 months ago. We know that once they passed it, it's been sitting with the senators, and the Senate has already said that it was going to be dead on arrival, that they really didn't agree with a lot of the stuff, or majority of the stuff, that was in the HEROES Act. Now, I got my notes just so I won't leave nothing out, because I hate to do stuff and rely on my memory and then go back and say, oh, I forgot to say this. Even though I'm not going to touch on everything that's in the bill, because it's a fairly large bill, and in my opinion, there were a lot of things in the HEROES Act I didn't understand why they put it in there. It has nothing to do with helping the American people, and I'm like, at some point, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I'm like, are they helping? Are the Republicans and Democrats working with each other? Because why would they pass a bill that has a bunch of nonsense in it? Like, this should be strictly for how to help the American people. But they had stuff about cannabis in there, infrastructure, and I understand that those things may be important, but right now we need it to be direct and focused on what's going on in regards to this pandemic. So a lot of things that were important in the HEROES Act were direct payments to the American people, which I'm sure everybody can agree on. The only thing I didn't like was there was so much talk before the HEROES Act was passed about $2,000 a month for several months for the American people. But then when they put it in the bill, it's $1,200 per individual, and then but different than the CARES Act, $1,200 for your dependent instead of the $500 that we got last time. So they upped it a little bit, but I'm thinking, why did they, like, if you want to negotiate, you start high, so I didn't understand why they made it $1,200 when before was all this talk about $2,000 a month, $2,000 a month. We need $2,000 a month, but in the bill you put $1,200. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I didn't understand why they did that. I didn't like that they did that. But anyway, so that's what they're proposing. They are proposing rental and mortgage assistance. And if you watch my other video, you know that I said that should have been taken care of from the very beginning, that people should not have to worry about paying rent and paying a mortgage or some place to live, when this was something that we had no control over. So the other thing is for students. They have something in there for hazard pay for essential workers and frontline workers. They also had in there funding for your local and state government, which I don't think I heard anything from the Republicans in regards to that. They also had in there, oh, which is very important. I know some people want to think it's very important. The extension of the unemployment benefits, which was the $600 a week that people are getting, they want to extend that because that ends July 25th. And the Republicans are against that. They wanted to stop that for a while because they want America to start open. They want these stores and businesses to start opening up. So they definitely against the $600 a week. And also, one of the other things they talked about was emergency relief funding for the post office, which Trump is against because he wants to privatize. The post office. So the HEROES Act to me had a lot of stuff in there that directly helps us and what many of us are specifically going through the pandemic. Paying our student loans. They want forgiveness for that. Housing and rental assistance. Money for your state and local government, and that could be and that could be money for your state and local money could go like towards more food stamps. They also have programs for mortgage and rental assistance. So that's why they want to get the money to your state and local government as well. Maybe subsidies for child care. So that's what the House of Representatives, the Democrats, the major points that they've been, that's in the HEROES Act. Now, when it comes to, I don't know what the bill is called for the Senate, because they're still negotiating. They definitely want to cut that $600 a week for that unemployment. They want to make it more, I heard $200 to $400. They do want to do direct payments, but we don't know how much they want to give people. Mitch McConnell, which is the Senator Majority Lead, did propose direct payments only for people making $40,000 a year and less. That's just a proposal. That's just what he proposed. We don't know what it's going to be. So if somebody is saying, oh yeah, it's definitely going to be this or it's definitely going to be that, that's not true because we don't know yet. Everything is being negotiated. They want payment protection program. So they talked about that. They also talked about liability insurance for these businesses because they don't want people to be able to go into these businesses, they get sick, blame it on the business, and be able to sue. So they want to protect the businesses, for frivolous lawsuits. But you can still sue if they find that the business was incompetent in regards to keeping their establishment safe. They definitely want the payroll tax. Well, the president definitely wants the payroll tax. Now, the payroll tax only helps people who are making income. It doesn't help anybody who's sitting home and is not getting paid right now, who's unemployed. And I heard that it cuts into Social Security, which Social Security has already been cut enough. So it goes into that. So the Democrats are definitely against the payroll tax. So that's why that's not in their bill. So basically, in regards to the stimulus package, that's it. We know what's in the HEROES Act. The major things that the Senate is negotiating is the direct payment, which we don't know what it is, the payment protection program, the liability protection. They want to cut that $600 a week. They definitely want the payroll tax. And so I don't think we've heard anything from them in regards to helping students. We haven't heard anything from the Senate in regards to rental and mortgage assistance. They do want, I think both the House of Representatives and the Senate both agree on funding for more corona testing, even though the president is against that. He wants to cut into money for that because he wants a new FBI building. He wants that in the stimulus package, a new FBI building. So I don't know, but I don't know. Like, I don't think they're going to come to a decision by Friday. I want to be able to think positively, but the fact that they took a break, that they took their break, and then they're still negotiating some of the major things, to me, you want to be positive, but it just doesn't give me much hope. It really doesn't. Like, you want to stay positive, but I believe both the House of Representatives and the state both want to give money to the school systems and the daycare industry for funding for that, so that way kids can go back to school safe. See, and to me, the Senate wants to do everything to make sure people get back to work and these businesses start opening up. That's technically not a bad thing when you say, oh, we want people to get back to work, we want the economy to start flowing again. Technically, that's not a bad thing, but you got to make sure that people are being safe. Like, I've been to the stores recently, and it's like, as time goes on, people are forgetting about that we need to protect ourselves and we need to protect others. So I don't see the stores enforcing. You see little stories here and there on social media where the manager may be enforcing you to wear a mask, but for the majority, for most of us, we go in here, we come in contact with plenty of people that don't wear masks, and you don't have these managers in these stores enforcing it. It should be somebody placed at the door of every store, of every restaurant, saying you can't come in if you don't have a mask. That should be enforced. You can't come in here if you don't have a mask, and you can't take your mask off once you get inside. That cuts down on people lingering and stuff like that, because you go to a store, you get in, you get what you need, you get out, because you want to take that mask off. Because I do understand that it does restrict breathing, and some people can't have it on for long periods of time. I understand that, and for that purpose only, you get yourself a face shield. There is another option. So I don't want to hear none of this like, I can't wear a mask. Then get a face shield then. Get the one that come all the way around, all the way down. I've seen people wear them, so there's no excuse to protect yourself and to protect others. And I just see, as time goes on, it's like people are forgetting that the coronavirus is even out here. And you got the Senate, you got these Republicans and the president who want to send these kids back into these schools. Are they going to get their funding in time? Do you trust that who they have working in them schools are going to clean it properly? It's going to be disinfected properly? Do you trust that the other children are going to wash their hands the way they should wash their hands, keep their mask on for as long as they need to keep their mask on, keep the social distancing? Do you trust the kids? I don't trust. Not only do I not trust the young kids, I don't trust the older kids. I don't trust the high schoolers. Because if you are on social media, you do know that there are some kids out there that they do things, they don't think, and they just do things where you're like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? So I can see teachers every day, all day, saying, why would you do that? Why would you cough on him? Why would you spit on him? Why would you? That's all day. So the learning is definitely going to get interrupted, because you're going to constantly be redirecting kids in regards to their behavior, but you're going to be redirecting them, keeping them safe, and keeping you safe. As for the teachers, then the teachers get sick. You're going to have teachers called out. It's going to be listen. Right now, do I think everything should be opening back up? Kids should be in these buildings? No. I do know that most school districts are doing a hybrid. They're doing a couple days in school, and the rest of the day is going to be virtual. But you got some parents out here that are absolutely losing their mind over this virtual online learning. They cannot deal. They cannot cope, because they also have, if they have a job where they can work from home, Not only do they have to do that, but now they have to make sure that the high schoolers, I think, are a little bit more independent. And if you have a high schooler, you don't really have to worry too much about them doing their work. You may have to remind them to make sure they get online and get to their class, but I'm talking about the elementary, middle school, where you got to be right there making sure they're doing their work. There's going to be 50 million questions because you're not going to know if the math is higher than 5th grade. I can't help you. Mm-mm. So I know that parents right now are just like, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do I send my kid back? I don't necessarily want to send my kid back, but I have to work from home, and you're still telling me I have to monitor their hours of work online, and I don't know half this work. Will I have access to the teacher as much as I want? It's just, I don't think enough time was given for the last school year. I think we were just trying to get through. There are a lot of people that were successful, but we were just trying to get through. And so a lot of us didn't get a handle. Why? I have a high schooler, so I really, and she was used to doing online because they were already doing that pre-pandemic. They were already doing a lot of their work. Teachers was giving it to them online. They didn't get anything in a notebook or written down. They were already doing Google Classroom. So luckily I didn't have any issues there. But for the young ones, some parents are not tech savvy, and you got a 1st grader, a 2nd grader, a 3rd grader. So it's just going to be interesting. It's just going to be interesting as we move forward. But I don't see that this is going away anytime soon, because whenever I do go to the market, because like I said before, I'll do Amazon Fresh. But when I do go to the market, I'm seeing more and more people becoming relaxed. Like this thing done went away. So I can see in September, October, our numbers steadily rise. I can also see around that time, around flu season, December, January, schools closing back down. Because now you got too many teachers that's out sick. Because there will be kids in that school sick. Trust me when I tell you. It's something. I see it. I see something. He want to be all up in my video. Get on out of here. Get on out my video. Get. Whew. I tell you. Anyway, people always want to be up on YouTube. So I'm gonna wrap it up. It's been almost 20 minutes, and I said it was gonna be short. But I explained to you the stimulus package. I hope you got a little bit of what is in each bill. Well, we know about the HEROES Act. We don't know a very little bit about what the Senate is doing because they're still negotiating. Some people think that they are going to pass something by Friday. They do have until next week. I'm hoping that they will have this thing completed by next week, because it still has to be reviewed by the president, and he has to sign off on it. And if he don't like what he see, he can veto it, and then it's back to negotiations. And the fact that the Senate has waited to the last minute is like, doesn't make sense to me, because it's like they don't want to negotiate with the Democrats, so they're going to pass it at the last minute. So we're like, the Democrats are like, you know what, just go ahead, push it through, because we don't have time to. It really shouldn't go past next week. Like if this thing goes past next week, I don't know what to say. But when I have more concrete information, more concrete updates, I'll come back. It may be tomorrow, it may not be tomorrow, it may be Friday, it may be Saturday, I don't know. But when I hear some new information, that's when I'll bring another video. Because I've been watching videos all the time, every day, and it's like nothing new. They just repeating the same thing. They may be saying it differently in a different order, but there's nothing new. You give me an update, I want to hear new information. I don't want to hear that they're discussing the same old stuff that they're discussing, or nothing's concrete. So when there's something new, I'll bring it to you. All right. Nice talking to y'all. Bye.